We always have this conversation about how busy the Eagles have been. Were you surprised that Howie Roseman, not that he dumped a lot of guys, because it was obvious they didn't want those guys around, but were you surprised the Eagles were so involved on the first day of free agency?
Yeah, I was a little bit. I mean, they obviously had some holes to fill, and I knew they were going to fill them. I just didn't think that they would do so that fast. I mean, adding a linebacker, offensive lineman, safety, a couple corners, and I was a little bit surprised that they did it that quickly.
Yeah, Dave, and of the guys, I mean, they got moving quickly. They brought in McKelvin the first or the day before. They made the trades. But of the guys, which guy do you think will be the one that stands out the most? Which of these guys was the best fit for them? Because we know free agency is all about fits. We've seen good players come to places and just aren't the right fit for that system, a la Maxwell last year, Murray coming over as well. But which of these guys do you think will be the right fit for the Eagles?
There's probably two. Offensively, I would say Brandon Brooks, the big offensive lineman from Houston. They're going to plug him in at right guard right away. That was something that they really needed because the guys they had playing that position this past season just didn't get the job done. He's a big, strong, aggressive, reliable guy who I think will upgrade the offensive line significantly. Defensively, I think it was Rodney McLeod, the safety from St. Louis. He's a Jim Schwartz kind of player, tough, hard-hitting, aggressive, down-in-the-box kind of safety. I mean, Walter Thurman certainly had a tremendous year this year, but I think McLeod gives them a little bit more security as far as the run defense goes, and he can cover too. So I think that's a big upgrade as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I know Thurman had a good year, but not a physical guy, and I think that kind of should excite Eagles fans to. They're going to bring a physical brand of defense back, and I like Nigel Bradham as the strong side guy. I think he's a guy that Eagle fans will turn out, to be big fans of. He had a great year playing in Buffalo for Jim Schwartz in 2014.
Right, he did. Most of those guys that they brought over from Buffalo seem to have pretty good years under Schwartz,
and not such good years for Ryan.
Right. I think people are doing a little bit of a disservice to Billy Davis here. I mean, I know that they. As an overall defense, they stunk, and especially this year. But there were guys that similar to what Schwartz was able to do in Buffalo. I mean, Malcolm Jenkins had his best year this year. There were a couple other guys that I thought. Connor Barwin made the Pro Bowl with his career high in sacks the year before that. And say what you want about Nate Allen, he was actually one of the elite leaders in interceptions the year before that. So I think Davis I think some guys actually blossomed under his system. I mean, it's no question that as a whole they didn't do it, but
I think the point really is they had good defensive talent, but that offense really exposed the defense and wore them. Because in the first half of the year, Dave, it seemed like for the last 3 years, the first half we'd be saying, "Man, this defense looks pretty good," and then by about the 10th week of the year, you're like, "This defense just run out of gas."
Right. That's actually the point I'm making in my column on Sunday. That everybody wants to, criticize Davis for the job that he did, but Chip Kelly deserves the brunt of the criticism for the way that he was able to, or the way he just ran there everything. Like he said, the defense they simply ran out of gas in the second half of the season because they were just on the field so much. I mean, you can only have so many 3-and-outs on offense before the defense gets tired too. So I think Chip deserves a lot of the heat for it.
The Chip Kelly dismantling continues. First Maxwell and Alonso, then Sanchez today. Of course, Murray as well. And they just released Brandon Bear, another one of Chip's former Oregon Duck players. So, you hate to say, does Howie Roseman have a vendetta against Chip? But it's obvious that he felt that those guys represented the Kelly era, and they needed to get them out.
Yeah, I think they needed a fresh start. I think Howie would never say that, but I think he's clear that he wants to show that they made a mistake by demoting him last year and giving Chip full control of personnel. And it's no coincidence that all the guys that they're getting rid of were Chip guys. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. And I think Howie and Jeffrey Lurie and even Doug Peterson, maybe to a lesser extent, they want guys in there that fit their system and their culture that they're trying to build. So, I'm not surprised that they're doing this.
Dave, obviously there's a lot of questions about Chase Daniel and his contract, and there's some speculation swirling. Now, yesterday, Doug Peterson, he tried to clear it up. Sam's 1, Daniel's 2. Are you buying that, or do you think that if Bradford struggles in camp, that Daniel could surpass him?
No, I don't think so. I think that I think Bradford's the guy until he gets hurt, which is usually the case. But I think Chase is a career backup, and he's a backup for a reason. I just don't know that he can. Man, I was actually talking to Ron Jaworski about him today at the Maxwell Football Club luncheon, and he's saying he's not really sure what Chase can do because he's never had the opportunity. But the fact that he hasn't had that opportunity kind of tells you something. So. And I know Doug said he reminds him of himself, and Doug wasn't a very good quarterback, to be honest with you. So I kind of think that this is Sam's job until he gets hurt. I know there's been a lot of talk about trades and all that stuff, but I honestly don't happen. I think this is Sam. I think Sam's the starting quarterback on opening day.
I saw you tweet out that that would be a low-class move by the Eagles if they signed Sam and then ended up trading him. Yesterday, he was directly asked Peterson if they were going to entertain calls. He said, "We are not entertaining calls. Sam is our guy." And then I think today the trade of Sanchez to Denver, because that would have been an interesting spot, Denver for Bradford. I think that kind of put a stamp on that they're not looking to maybe move him because now they're down to the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Denver certainly doesn't want to go with Sanchez as their starter, I don't think. But, that tells me that the Eagles they're not going to ship 2 guys out there. So, and it was kind of funny because everybody jumped on the fact that Howie talked yesterday about how, no one's untouchable, that we're going to entertain we didn't entertain offers for everyone. But that's what he's supposed to say. I mean, he doesn't want anybody to feel like, comfortable or feel like they have a roster position sewn up. But that doesn't mean that, they're actually going to, get rid of anybody. I mean, I'm sure Fletcher Cox could be had for the right price, but I just think that price is reasonable. So, I think people want to calm down a little bit and just realize the fact that this is Bradford's job.
Yeah, and is that okay? I mean, is that settling, or is that just the state of the league, Dave? I mean, I've kind of come to the fact that we all want a better guy than Bradford, but this is what the league is. This is what the league is filled of. So if you have one of them, you're in a lot better spot than some other teams are.
Right, like you were saying, earlier that. There's not that many elite quarterbacks out there, and everybody was, bitching and complaining about the money that they gave Bradford, but that was the going rate. I mean, that's just what sort of starting quarterbacks get. He's worth $18 million a year. I mean, he's not worth 25 certainly, but I thought he played well enough down the stretch of the season to merit that kind of contract. And like you said, he hasn't won a playoff game yet, but look at Matt Ryan and look at some of those other guys. They haven't exactly lit it up in the postseason either. So I just think people are maybe a little bit too hard on Sam. I mean, certainly he has a lot to prove. He hasn't proven anything yet, really, but I think he deserves the opportunity. And I don't think he's the worst quarterback in the league.
Well, right. And if you told me, Dave, hey, the Eagles had an opportunity to get X, Y, or Z, at that point I'd say, you know what, then they messed this thing up. But I don't think X, Y, Z, A, B, C, or D was a better option than this. And that doesn't mean you're settling. I think that just means, look, this is the rate, this is what you're going for, and this is who this is who your guy is. You take the mask off of Bradford, and it could be Kirk Cousins under that mask. I mean, every team, I think, is in a very similar situation, unfortunately. I mean, that's just the state of quarterback play in the NFL.
Right. There's only so many elite guys out there, and they're not available, so you have to go with the next best thing. And I would, honestly, I'm with you in the fact that I don't think Brock Osweiler deserves that kind of money. I'm not so sure that he's going to pan out. I don't think he's going to. I think Denver might have known. They might have known a little something by letting him walk. I mean, I know that they weren't going to match that asking price certainly, but maybe they saw.
No way.
Even while Brock was winning games and stuff, maybe they saw something that kind of told him that he's successful, but we're not so sure that he's going to be successful long term.
Dave, you wrote a piece about Bradford. You said Bradford's my starter, but you're glad to have Daniel around. It seems that some people think the Eagles' quarterback position is a disaster. You disagree. You think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I certainly want them to draft somebody, though. I mean, they need somebody not with the number 8 pick, but I think they need to take some, maybe if they can get back into the second round to take somebody, or certainly in the third or fourth round, somebody that's, shows promise and potential, someone that can, I think that's going to be Chase Daniels' main job, really, is to groom Sam's successor, so to speak. He knows Doug's system better than anyone, and I think it's going to be his job to teach it to a young guy. So I'm really hoping that they're going to take somebody in the third or fourth, and with the idea that maybe he'll take over, a couple years down the line.
Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City. Of course, the Eagles in full offseason mode now, as the first day of free agency, very busy. The NFL draft is coming up, and today they trade Mark Sanchez to Denver for a conditional draft choice. So a lot of trades, a lot of signings. We'll see what Howie Roseman has next up the sleeve. I don't know. Is there another Chip Kelly high-profile guy on this roster that should be worried? I guess Bradford would be the next guy, but is there a guy I'm missing?
I don't know. Maybe Josh Huff. I don't think he's very good, but he's not exactly a high-profile guy.
Right. He was a third-round pick, though.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe Hick, but they seem to be kind of set with they want to give those young receivers an opportunity to excel. So I wouldn't see any of those guys leaving, but because Huff went to Oregon, I don't think anybody's safe that he needs to play for the Ducks now.
Hey, Dave, are you covering the Maxwells today?
I was there, yeah. I was just at the luncheon, yep. I'm not going to the dinner, but I was there to chat with a few guys.
Who were some of the guys that won awards this year?
Well, Cam Newton was the player of the year, but he wasn't there. Hopefully he'll show up tonight, I guess. But they had Ron Rivera as the coach of the year. Derrick Henry was the college football player of the year. It was kind of neat. It was kind of neat to see him. I didn't realize he was that big. He's a freaking monster, that guy. And on the local level, Joe Callahan, the Holy Spirit guy. He was the Tri-State Brian Westbrook Award winner as the Tri-State Player of the Year. I spent most of my time talking with Joe, and he's got a pro day coming up at the University of Delaware, hoping to parlay that into maybe an invitation to an NFL camp. So it would be kind of neat to see. Neat to see him get an opportunity to see if he can play at the next level.
Cool. All right, Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City, of course, kind enough to jump on at Press AC Weinberg for more on the Eagles off-season news. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Anytime. Appreciate it.